little faith I have in placing her back in my zone school.
Beverly's second grade child will now be placed back into a Zone PS school, the same failing system that Beverly yanked her daughter out of under President Bush's No Child Left Behind Act, which allows parents to pull their kids out of a failing school and put them into charter schools. Only 83 out of the city's 1,000 schools have both reading and math scores above 75%, but none have a seat available. The Department of Education is promising parents of Rhinebeck that their child will have a class by fall, but won't promise that it will be a performing school. Chair of the Education Committee, Councilwoman Eva Moskowitz, stood out front of the DOE's headquarters, blasting the department's handling of the situation.
If the Department of Education thinks that their job is simply to provide a physical seat, then they should shut down. Because I thought they were in the business of guaranteeing parents and kids a good education.
Now come this June, that Rhinebeck school up in Harlem will be completely vacant. Councilwoman Eva Moskowitz says that's unacceptable. She's now asking schools Chancellor Joel Klein to keep all those students together and put in a temporary faculty. Otherwise, she's asking that all the 300+ students that are there right now be placed into other charter schools throughout the city. Reporting in Lower Manhattan, Brandon Root at RNN.
Okay, thanks, Brandon. Now to Queens, where in September, students arrived at Middle School 74 in Bayside to find a new building manager in place of their familiar custodian. When parents heard the news, they demanded a background check of the new employee and were horrified at what they learned. RNN's Kat Greenleaf joins us tonight from our Queens Bureau with the details. Kat.
That's right. The employee was a private contractor with a controversial history. Now, parents and politicians in Queens are calling for the Department of Education to stop hiring outside janitors altogether.
How did parents at Queens MS 74 feel when they learned the school's new building manager had a criminal record?
Very, very, very uncomfortable.
The convicted felon has since been fired, but he was an employee of Temco, a private company which the Department of Ed is using to replace unionized school custodians in 2 regions of Brooklyn and Queens.
Why should I trust a company that puts unfingerprinted, not sufficient background checks into a school with their children?
Debbie Strasberg is joined by several district parents in questioning Temco's hiring practices. The company did not return our calls, but the Department of Education tells RNN that according to policy, the employees should have gone through the same background check as anyone who works for the city and should never have been allowed in the school. Queens Councilman David Weprin is calling on the Department of Education to stop the privatization of janitors, saying it's not helping anyone.
As chairman of the Finance Committee, I've not seen the numbers to prove that the city is in fact saving money by privatizing custodians, but certainly even if they were saving money, that should not be the primary concern. The primary concern should be the safety of our children.
Here at MS 74 in Queens, parents say they were supposed to have been given a choice as to whether or not they wanted a private custodian in the school. They say they've never been given that choice.
And we thought this was a done deal, and now they've changed their minds. They've done a backhanded deal where we're going to be privatized through attrition.
The Department of Ed says the school should have had the option to hire a union custodian because that's the policy.
And that's all we're asking.
The Department of Education says they will be launching investigations into why that particular employee was allowed to work in a New York City school, and also why principals say they're not getting choices to hire who they want to. That is the latest here from Queens. I'm Kat Greenleaf. Back to you.
Okay, thanks, Kat. Now to Brooklyn, where the City Council Committee on Economic Development heard from people in favor and opposed to the controversial arena for the New Jersey Nets. RNN's Karen Roberts has more. Karen.
Ashley, the hearing was open to the public, and for the first time, Brooklyn residents got to hear details on the plans for this 800,000 square foot arena.
We're going to get answers. Let's talk about the first question you posed. Who gets assigned to this unit? And you've already learned in her testimony, and it should be noted that former Councilman Monserrat was a former member of the Viper unit, that some of the guys that are being investigated, officers for criminal misconduct, they get dumped in effect into this unit. And there's some real legitimate questions as to shouldn't they be assigned to some other duty than really watching, in effect, surveillance cameras of people that might not even know that they're being observed. He said that people's private moments in the bedroom, for example, are being recorded unbeknownst to them on this. How concerned are you that the makeup of this unit isn't what it should be?
I don't think that they can argue it, and I think that it is certainly an issue where an immediate shakeup and needs to take place. We have called this to the attention of the police commissioner, and in addition to former police officer, now city council member Hiram Monserrat having made that statement, another current police officer who is assigned to the Viper unit, as well as one of the head members of the unit who spoke at the city council hearing last week, confirmed this, that officers who basically are on modified duty, meaning they're under some type of investigation for some allegation while it gets worked out, are the ones who are being placed there. So it's almost a sense of punishment. And this is too important because, again, a number of things are picked up on the cameras. Now, let me say, I support the use of cameras for for public safety measures, and that can be done in a way where criminals can be apprehended, or efforts sometime have been made to stop criminal behavior if it is seen far enough in advance and officers can get to the scene. So we have seen some good as a result of this, and we have heard from a number of residents who want to have these cameras in place. But as a result of what happened with this suicide being placed on a pornographic website or website outside of the hands of the police in general, period, that has raised a number of questions as it relates to privacy, exactly where the cameras are, who is monitoring those cameras, again, where are they maintained, who has access to them, how long are they kept there, and what regulations are in place.
Are you at the point where to regain the trust of the community, you got to have a major shakeup in this unit, or do you think that with these concerns they could be satisfied with just a few changes, maybe a different person at the top, or are they looking for something more widespread than that?
I think we're looking for regulations. How do we regulate the use of cameras, the type of technology? Because with a lot of the advances, we're told, just as you said, that images can be seen beyond just in the public space, but into people's private areas. Are we using that type of those type of cameras? We don't know. We also need to know, again, who is in charge, and they need to be different people. So I think that calls for a major shakeup.
Well, as always, I appreciate a few minutes with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming up next on RNN Metro, how would you feel about riding the subway if there was no conductor on board? That could be the future of transportation in the Big Apple. We will have the details and your reaction when we come back. Get on those phone lines, 38-RNN-CHAT, or go online to rnntv.com.
Show your support for the FDNY and NYPD. Get your tickets now for the Fun City Bowl, May 15th at historic West Point. Log on to rnntv.com to get your tickets today. Proceeds to support the Fallen Patriot Fund. Salute America's heroes. We'll see you at the game.
My doctor wanted me to get one of those emergency pendants.
The ones that let you call for help?
And I said, that's not for me. That's for some old person.
But we finally talked my mom into calling ADT.
Then one day I slipped and broke my hip. The pain was terrible, and I couldn't get to the phone. I needed an ambulance, so I pushed the button.
It's okay, Mrs. Anderson. The paramedics are on their way.
It was so good to hear ADT at the other end.
Introducing ADT Companion Services. With one touch of a button, you can summon help from anywhere in your home and talk with ADT's trained professionals who can call an ambulance and help with any medical emergency. 1 out of every 3 people over 65 will fall this year. ADT helps you maintain your independence for about $1 a day. Call 1-800-ADT-9030 now for your free information about ADT Companion Services.
I'm glad ADT could call for help.
So am I.
Protect your independence. Call today for your free booklet and information about ADT Companion Services. ADT, always there.
It's up to you to protect the future of those you love. Call Garden State Life today. There's no medical exam, and it's easy to apply. You get full coverage from the start and benefits will not go down. Whether you need as little as $5,000 to cover final expenses or as much as $150,000 to protect your family's future, one quick phone call is all it takes to find a policy that fits your needs and your budget.
Call 1-800-347-2992 now.
Tonight's weather report is brought to you in part by GetawayTV.com.
Looking at the satellite radar composite right now, we're seeing some clouds building back in New Jersey and back off in towards the Poconos as well. Not too much to speak of tonight. However, we are tracking this weak little cold front and low pressure system, quick moving, almost like a clipper system. And notice some spotty showers firing up out ahead of that system, but also notice it is moving rather fast and then high pressure right behind it. So we should have nice conditions as we head in towards the end of the week and the weekend. I'll be back with the entire forecast plus the GetawayTV.com 5-day in just a bit.
The job of train and subway conductors could soon be obsolete. That's because by next year, the L train in New York will be completely computer run. Transit officials say an operator will still be at the controls to override the system in case of an emergency, but many wonder if trains without conductors at all can be far behind. Tonight, we want to get your reaction to these plans. Would you feel safe in a train without a conductor? 888-RNN-CHAT is our toll-free number, or you can post your comments online at rnntv.com. But first, let me bring in my guest. Councilman Louis Fidler represents the district that utilizes the L train the most, and he's in our Manhattan studio this evening. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here tonight.
My pleasure, Ms. Wagner.
Now, you're not on the Transportation Committee, but you are concerned about this issue because it does directly involve your constituents. In fact, you recently said that you're concerned about the MTA using your constituents basically as guinea pigs. Do you think that that's what's happening here?
Well, certainly before they use any New Yorker, no less my own constituents, as guinea pigs, I think we need to be absolutely certain that the technology that they're talking about here is going to be safe on a number of levels. I have concerns at 3 levels. First, will it work? It hasn't been tested anywhere except in a laboratory, and so we all remember that when the Port Authority first tried the plane to the train, which was a mechanized train, somebody died in the first test. So before they put any of my constituents or any New Yorker on that train, I want to be sure that the technology, as it is designed, will work safely and successfully. I'm also concerned that it be tamper-proof. They're going to be sending signals to these computers by radio wave. If nothing else, we learned after Madrid that commuter trains can be a target. Will someone be able to tamper with the system? Will they, for example, be able to make a train disappear and cause a horrible incident? That would be the second level of concern. And then last but not least, a computer can't lead a commuter to safety. If we have a track fire and there are 2,500 people on the L train, which is its stated capacity, well, who's going to lead those people to safety? It certainly isn't a computer. And so while they have promised that the motorman will remain on the trains, what about the conductors, the people that check to make sure that no one is stuck in a door at a time when door sensors don't always work? So there are a lot of levels of concern here.
And certainly with the leading people out of the trains if there was an emergency. We saw during the blackout even, conductors were very instrumental in helping people that were stuck in the subways navigate through the tunnels and back out to safety. So certainly we wouldn't want to see them eliminated. And the MTA so far is saying that they're not going to flat out eliminate these train conductors. Do you think that maybe you and Councilman John Liu, who is very often on our program and who's the chair of the Transportation Committee, who's also concerned about this, do you think maybe you're jumping the gun a little bit in terms of worrying about the complete elimination of the human element here?
Let me say I don't think we're jumping the gun. First, I want to say I'm a big Star Trek fan. I would wish that I wish people could be moved around in that kind of technology and at warp speed. So I'm not against progress, but I am very much concerned about safety and making sure that every step we take is done, with the utmost regard for the safety of the people who are going to be getting on this train. And I think Councilman Liu agrees. This isn't about jobs, and the transit workers who joined us at City Hall last week said the same thing. It's about safety. Now, they say their present intention is not to remove people from the train, and I think that the transit workers know better. I think they have memos that indicate that it is, in fact, their intention to remove live bodies from the trains, and we have to ask, is that going to be safe?
Now, what about the unions? Are the unions talking about this at all? Are they concerned about the workers there?
Yes, they are. They're very much concerned. And in fact, the fact that more than $200 million was spent implementing this system before the Transit Workers Union was even notified of the project in any official way as required by the union contract gives one cause to wonder, why. There's a very, very powerful profit motive here. Siemens is an international company, stands to make hundreds of millions of dollars if they can pass the test. I'm sure the MTA, having spent over $200 million putting this technology onto the L line, is very concerned that it not be a $200 million boondoggle. So there's going to be tremendous pressure to pass. And I want to make sure that the pressure is just there as well to make sure that people are safe before the profits are considered.
Now, you're calling on the council to have a hearing investigating this issue. What would you like to see them accomplish during this hearing, and how likely is it that that's going to happen sometime soon?
Well, thanks to Chairman Liu, we will be holding those hearings probably during the summer, well before the system goes online. I want answers. I want proof. I want to be as assured as someone could be without actually stepping on the train that it's going to be safe. And I certainly want to hear their answers to the security issue about tampering. That's something that they, I hope, have anticipated. And I certainly want to know what they intend to do about keeping live people on the trains to make sure that in a track fire, a smoke condition, a blackout, that there is someone there to help the people who are on the trains come to safety.
Or also a medical emergency. I would imagine if there's a medical emergency on a train, someone needs help, it would be nice to know that there's a conductor there who's trained to stop the train and figure out exactly what to do to get that passenger to safety. But thank you very much for being on the program today, Councilman Fidler. We appreciate your taking the time to talk with us.
Thanks for having me.
And now the question that we're asking you is, would you feel safe riding on a train without a conductor? Let us know what you think. 888-RNN-CHAT, of course, is our toll-free number, or you can let us know online, and that's where we'll begin. All right, here's what our viewers online are saying. William from New Canaan, Connecticut writes, I ride computer-run elevators all the time. Keep in mind that an automated plane recently flew from San Diego to Sydney, Australia without a pilot. Remote control was not necessary until the plane landed in Sydney and had to taxi. I'm sure that our technology is up to the task of automating the operation of a train to make it at least as safe as manually operated one. The higher the speed of the train, the more automated I would want it to be. I certainly would not want the software to be written by Microsoft or to run on Windows. That leaves the question of who would operate and maintain it. Ah, there's the rub. Perhaps I will walk. And Karen writes, I don't see any reason to worry about trains run by computers. So much of the world is run by computers now, and we don't notice it. We just take it for granted that it will run smoothly. Besides, what do subway conductors do now except threaten to close the doors on you and make announcements that no one can understand? All right, well, that's Karen's perspective. We're going to have more of your reaction coming up next. Would you feel safe riding a train that's completely computer operated? No conductor on board at all, no conductor at the switches there, just a computer running everything. 888-RNN-CHAT, of course, is our toll-free number, or you can get involved online at rnntv.com. We'll be right back with your phone calls.
Women love perfectly groomed men, but grooming certain areas can be a problem. Razor blades can cut you, and scissors can poke you. Now there's MicroTouch, designed to go where razors and scissors shouldn't go. For safe, precise grooming that gets as close as a blade, yet is safe to the touch. The sleek design gives you perfect control, so you can keep the back of your neck barbershop perfect by yourself. Remove unsightly ear hair with just a touch. Embarrassing nose hair, gone like that. Sideburns straight and even. Mustaches and beards neat and clean. Got bushy eyebrows? Just snap on the guide and perfectly groom them in seconds. Look at the difference. MicroTouch grooms from head to toe and anywhere in between. Shoulders, arms, chest, or back. Powerful enough for the tough stuff, yet gentle even on the most sensitive skin. The secret? Our precision cutting system that cuts hair but doesn't cut skin. It gets as close as a blade, yet is safe to the touch. Guaranteed. The Snap-on guide lets you control just how much hair is removed. Remove a little, a lot, or remove it all and show off that hard body. What a great way for women to keep the men in their life perfectly groomed, or for moms who want to keep their kids looking neat and clean between haircuts. MicroTouch replaces expensive trimmers like these and goes places they can't with micro precision. A $40 value for only $14.99. So avoid those risky razor cuts, put down the pointy scissors, and go with MicroTouch, the safe, precise solution for everyday grooming. Call now and you'll also get our 10-piece precision grooming kit. It includes every grooming tool you need to always look your best. A $40 value, yours absolutely free. You get it all. The MicroTouch Precision Groomer and this beautiful 10-piece grooming kit, an incredible $80 value for only $14.99. But you have to call now. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-936-4499. That's 1-800-936-4499. So call 1-800-936-4499 and order today.
Providing there is no problem, like no technical problems or whatever, because I've ridden the one that works at the JFK, and I didn't have any problems, so I won't mind.
Computers are more reliable than humans are.
So long as they're running, you know, and the data and everything is put in correctly, I wouldn't mind at all. It would be a very convenient way of traveling.
If it was computer operated and a person there as a backup sort of thing, maybe, but I don't think without any human at all I would be very comfortable.
If there's an accident or an incident happens, it's unexpected, I want an actual person there to take care of it. You know, you never know what's going to happen.
A human mind is always good to have in front of the train.
I hardly notice the conductor anyway, so I do feel safe.
All right, that's what some of our viewers on the streets of New York City today had to say about this issue, and now we want to know what you think. Give us a call. 888-RNN-CHAT, of course, is our toll-free number, and we have Ian on the line in Kingston, New York. Ian, would you feel safe riding a train that didn't have any conductor at all?
Yeah, I think that there's more room for there's less room for human error, and I think it would be a good idea, because computers run most of the world now.
So you wouldn't worry, though, about if there was an emergency or if the train suddenly stopped? You wouldn't like there to be a person who can lead you out onto another train or at least explain what's going on?
Well, I'm sure that they'd have a backup plan for that.
All right. Thank you very much for the phone call. Ian, I think right now there is, of course, that backup plan. As things stand right now, there would be a conductor on board. He wouldn't necessarily be running the minute-by-minute mechanisms of the train. He would simply be there as a backup measure, as Ian called it. But I think what we're worried about is that down the line, once we become even more reliant on computers, that guy may be done away with. And then where are we? No human at all on the train running it, and so who would then be there in case of an emergency? Let's see what one of our viewers had to say in a video email that we received. This one comes from Alicia.
No, I would not ride a computer-conducted train because anything can happen and computers are not 100% effective.
Thank you very much, Alicia. And if you'd like to send us a video email, you could send it to us at comments@rnntv.com. I think that's what has most people a little bit concerned. Computers, as reliable as they are, and certainly they are running a lot of what's going on, whether or not you know it or not, computers are everywhere and they're running a lot of things, but still, there's always room for error, even with a computer. Room for error with a human, room for error with a computer, and it's nice to know that both are working there side by side to pick up the other's slack. Let's see what Omar on Long Island has to say. Omar, you're on the line. Would you ride a train without a conductor? Omar, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Omar, do you feel safe riding on a train if there was no conductor present?
Yeah, I definitely feel safe.
Why is that? You wouldn't worry about if there was an accident or if there was a medical emergency? You don't think a person should be there just in case?
Well, I'll tell you, about 2 weeks ago I had a personal encounter with a conductor from the Long Island Railroad, and I think that those conductors are horrible.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the phone call, Omar. And I think that for the average person who's riding the subways or the trains, you never really see the conductor, so you're not really sure what exactly they're doing, except when they poke their head out to tell you not to block the doors. But certainly I think that they must be doing something because they are there, and it would be nice to know that they were there in the event that there was an emergency. Let's see what our viewers online have been saying about this. Here's some more emails we received. Civil rights. I think it's fine for computers to run the trains, but I'd feel safer knowing there's a human present as well to override the system if necessary, or to take care of any problems that may arise, like medical problems or violence on the train cars. A computer can't break up a knife fight or administer CPR. And Barry writes, I'd feel safe because computers are more reliable than people. What about that drunk conductor not too long ago on the Long Island Railroad that crashed a train? With computers, there is less chance of human error. Well, certainly we've not seen computers get drunk lately, so that is one instance where a computer may be more preferable than a human. But let's see what Constance in Mount Vernon has to say. Constance, what do you think about trains that are running without any conductor?
I think it's a little dangerous, and it's not 100% effective as if you had a conductor, actually running the train itself.
All right, thank you very much for the phone call, Constance. How about Valerie in Pearl River? Would you feel safe riding the subways knowing that there wasn't a human being at the helm?
Yes, I would feel safe. I would feel better if I knew there wasn't one. And I agree with the man before who said there's a lot of rate of error. More rate of error with a human than with a computer.
All right, so you would feel safe no matter what in terms of there could be a medical emergency, or as we saw during the blackout, conductors had to lead the people through the tunnels. You would still feel safe on a day-to-day basis knowing that if for some reason the train was to stop, there's not a person there who can guide you.
I really think I would.
Okay.
I really think I would. Judging by the way crime is today, the less the better.
All right, thank you very much for the phone call, Valerie. And I think a lot of people probably agree with her simply because, I mean, how often do we have a major blackout? How often is there a problem on the subway that you actually need a conductor there to walk you out of the subways? Personally, I think I would feel better knowing that in that rarest of rare events, it would be nice to know there was a person there. I certainly wouldn't want to be the blind leading the blind, just crawling out of a stalled subway car and walking through the tunnels hoping we find light. But let's see what Gloria in Queens has to say. Gloria, would you feel safe, 100% safe, riding a train that didn't have a conductor on it?
Nope.
Why not?
Well, if it's computer operated, a terrorist might want to hack into the program like things happen at the airport, and they could do damage, and the computer will go down, and the car could be derailed, the same way they mess up at the tower, the control tower. They could have access to the computer program and do irreparable damage.
Certainly, and thank you very much for bringing that up, Gloria, and I believe the councilman brought that up as well. With the flick of a switch or the press of a button, they might be able to reprogram the computer in some way to make a train, a physical train, disappear on the radar. And then what do you have? You might have a collision. You could have trains that are running into each other, not running on time, running off into tracks that go nowhere and hitting dead ends, hitting walls. So certainly that would be a problem and something that would have to be very closely monitored, because hacking computers, although not easy, is certainly not unheard of. Jermaine in the Bronx, you're going to be our last caller on this topic. What do you think? Would you feel safe riding a train without a conductor?
No, I don't think it's a safe or a good idea. Because of the fact that already you see that the trains run a little slow and the computer is already off error when it lets you know the net stop, that it's going to stop on. And with no human there to correct that error, the trains will be off the sync by at least a minute or two, and that wouldn't be a good idea.
All right, thanks a lot, Jermaine. And just from my own point of view, I think that what the biggest thing is for me is that a human being can make decisions, can make spur-of-the-moment decisions based on what's happening at that moment. And so I'd rather know that there's a human being there who can make those kind of decisions based on any fluctuations that could happen in life. A computer can't necessarily have that kind of rational thought, I suppose, and make decisions based on simply what's happening in a moment. So it would be nice to know that there's a person there to override the system if that were necessary in the case of a medical emergency or any other such a terrorist warning or whatnot. But you can keep sending us your reaction to the idea of phasing out train conductors by going online to rnntv.com. We appreciate all your phone calls tonight. Your headlines are coming up next on RNN Metro, so stay with us.
I'm Anne-Marie Lucas for the ASPCA Humane Law Enforcement Department, and every single day I am confronted with the horrors of animal cruelty. I see animals who have been beaten, neglected, and abandoned, left on the street to die. It makes me thankful the ASPCA is there every day to rescue them. Animals like Betty, badly injured, half-starved to death, no proper care. Without us, she and her newborn pups would be dead. Your help is desperately needed. Call this number now to give a gift to the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. For 60 cents a day, that's only $18 a month, you can rescue animals who have been victims of cruelty and provide food, shelter, and veterinary care for sick and homeless animals like Betty. When you call, we'll photograph an animal who's in our shelter right now, and we'll send you that photo, along with a free subscription to our Animal Watch magazine. Call or join online in the next 30 minutes, and we'll also send you this beautiful t-shirt. Your monthly gift to the ASPCA will mean the difference between life and death for victims of cruelty and abuse. Don't leave this up to someone else. Please call. And for the sake of animals like Betty, please join me in the fight to end animal cruelty and make that life-saving call right now.
Free?
Free?
You're giving it away free.
Hi, I'm Rob Graham, the president of Vital Basics, and I want to give you a bottle of Focus Factor, one of our best-selling supplements, absolutely free. Why would we give away a free bottle of Focus Factor? Because we know that if you try it, you'll buy it. Focus Factor contains nutrients that work with your natural brain chemistry to support focus, concentration, and memory. With satisfied customers in all 50 states, now is your chance to try Focus Factor absolutely free. Simply call the number on the bottom of your screen and we'll send you a full-size bottle of Focus Factor, a $75 value, absolutely free. You simply provide $4.95 to help cover the cost of shipping.
They let you try it free? It must be good.
You know, I've been taking Focus Factor since we introduced it over 2.5 years ago, and I wouldn't work a day without it.
To get your free bottle of Focus Factor, call now. 1-800-258-3002. 1-800-258-3002.
Well, the surface map for tomorrow shows that cold front back off towards the west and that spotty shower activity pushing in ahead of that. We're not looking for a rain out tomorrow, just some scattered showers, otherwise mostly cloudy skies during the day. Here's a closer look then at the forecast for tonight. Partly cloudy skies, winds coming up from the southwest, 10 to 15 miles per hour. So temperatures generally dropping down into the middle 40s, a little bit cooler as you head out on Long Island, about 40 degrees in Nassau. 44 though down in Brooklyn, cooler as well in Staten Island, 42 degrees for the overnight low. Mostly cloudy skies push in for tomorrow, southwesterly winds, scattered showers, 69 in the city, about 68 in the Bronx and Staten Island, 69 in Queens and Brooklyn, and 68 for the high over in Nassau County as well. Here's the GetawayTV.com 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy skies build in for Thursday and Friday with high temperatures near 70 degrees. Look for scattered showers on Sunday, a high of 71, and partly cloudy as we finish out the weekend.
Thanks, Scott. Hello, everyone. I'm Ashley Berry with your headlines right now on RNN Metro. There's an alarming new report about the health of rescue workers at Ground Zero and residents of Lower Manhattan. Here's that story. 9/11 health effects. A new report released by 6 different hospitals over 2 years has released some alarming results. The report suggests that of those who were exposed to the particles the longest from the collapse of the World Trade Center, nearly 1 in 4 are now suffering from profound respiratory problems. Frank Quattrone guilty. The former banker with Credit Suisse First Boston has been found guilty on all counts of obstruction of justice. Frank Quattrone instructed his employees to destroy files once he learned that his unit was the target of a criminal probe. Sentencing is set for September. Fatal rock arrest. A Bronx man is now under arrest for throwing a rock off a thruway overpass in Yonkers. The incident killed Mary McSweeney last month. 40-year-old Frank Fox was arraigned Monday on charges of reckless endangerment.